to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad and the shocking stories of sugar dating. It's just me today, and I actually had a guest. We were going to do a Zoom, but she couldn't make it, and I thought, you know what? You guys probably haven't really gotten caught up with my stories this summer, the shenanigans I've got myself into, the lessons I've learned, continue to learn. Maybe you'll get a little bit of chuckle from some of the things that have gone down. Maybe you learn a lesson or two. But we're just going to share some stories of my sugar dating shenanigans. But first, I started throwing pictures and videos and behind-the-scenes stuff on our Patreon. So you're going to want to check that out. Go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy Podcast. It's free to join, but we do appreciate our tier members that help support the show, and they start as little as $15 a month, and you get a lot of benefits for that. If you want to be in the women's only WhatsApp chat, the way to get in there is to sign up for our Patreon and then message me there with your phone number, your WhatsApp phone number, and I'll get you set up. Lily will throw you in there, and I'm guessing we're getting close to 100 women strong in that group. So you'll get that benefit along with our community chat on the Patreon group and a lot of other great stuff. We do have coaching and profile reviews available. So if you need help there, we want to help you be successful in this crazy sugar dating world. You can find anything you want. And I talk about this all the time with people that they're like, oh, I'm just finding a bunch of prostitution on there, or, I'm just finding this and that. And I'm like, look, you just got to weed it out. You got to figure out what you want and focus in on that and then try to get through all the noise. Because there's a lot of great people on there. And I've met some this summer, and I'm going to talk about those, and I've had some really interesting experiences. Where do I even start? Let's just talk about something that happened this week. I did something kind of stupid, and this does have to do with sugar dating. I guess the after effects of a relationship of sugar dating. So many of you guys know a long time ago, well, now around 2017 to 2020, I had a 2.5-year on and off relationship, sugar dating relationship, and with this girl named Madison. And she's married now and has moved away. So the thing is with her, and why it was a really tough breakup, is first of all, I hadn't had a breakup in a while. When I got divorced, we were just done. It didn't feel like a breakup. It felt like a moving on, and I was certainly ready to do that. But with this one, I wasn't ready to move on, and so it hurt. It hurt a lot. And one of the big reasons it hurt was because I really, really fell in love with her kids, and I started picturing myself as a father figure to these kids and raising them and teaching them all the lessons in life that I wish I would have learned, or that I did learn when I was a youth. And so that dream started becoming a reality, and then when we broke up, it was ripped away from me, and it was tough. But one thing she did have, when we first met, I think her daughter at the time was 8 or 9, and I don't know, I just really bonded with her, and I just felt like I could be a good influence in her life. And when we broke up, she was 11 or 12, just starting to kind of figure herself out. And it was really fun watching her grow. And I've seen that she's gone through some changes, some very positive changes. And that's it. Madison blocked me on social media, and I really haven't kept up with her, except I knew she got married. I knew she gained weight, which, that's fine. I know she struggled, and she had got down and worked really, really hard to get down to a very manageable weight when we were together, and was getting all kinds of attention. She looked great, but it's tough, and I get it. I struggle with my weight too, up and down, up and down. But anyway, he got married, has a bunch of kids running around like a blended family. She had 3 of her own, and I don't know, her husband had some kids, and so They're running everywhere, and that's it. That's all I really know. Well, the other day I posted something on Facebook, and it was a public post. Oh, it had something to do with Dua Lipa, so it was really funny. As you know, I'm a big Dua Lipa fan. I just went to her concert a few months ago in Chicago, and I'm well aware of her logos and her merch and what that looks like and everything. Well, this guy tried to start a fire at a federal building in New York City. I think he was protesting some immigration stuff, some ICE stuff. I don't know. But anyway, he went up and they have video of him doing that. And when he walked up, he had this T-shirt on, and I recognized the photo on the back of the T-shirt. It was a Dua Lipa Radical Optimism Tour T-shirt. And it was kind of blurry, but I knew what it was. And so I took a still of that video and I put it right next to her merchandise page where it showed that actual T-shirt and posted it. And I got something like, wow, even the fire starter is a Dua Lipa fan. And, that's it. I posted, I thought it was interesting. Well, her daughter liked it, or she hearted it, right, on Facebook. So I get this notice that says, so-and-so loved your posting. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen her in ages. And her Facebook profile is pretty public. So I looked and I'm like, wow, she's a senior in high school now. That's unbelievable. I cannot believe how much she's grown up. And me not thinking, because I'm blocked, Madison has me blocked on her profile. I just like, I'll add her a friend, and then it'll be fun to kind of see maybe what college she goes to and how her life develops. Oh, that was not the correct thing to do, as I realized later. I did it without much thought. I just thought it would be cool. And then that's it. Well, Madison unblocked me and sent me a very stern message on Messenger and says, absolutely not. Don't ever contact my daughter again. Oh, man. And I thought, you know what? You're probably your daughter's 17, and I shouldn't have done that. I was just, it was kind of one of those things I did with little thought and with really good intention. Like there was no ulterior motive. And so I respect her, and I wanted to respond. And there was a couple ways I could have done it where I could have just ignored her and then gone on. And I actually consulted ChatGPT because I was a little conflicted on where to go with this stern warning from her mother. So it gave me two options, and the one that I ended up using was this. And I think it's very respectful. It kind of explained my situation. And then it just said, I'll just read it verbatim. I go, understood, there was no ulterior motive. I simply recognized her from years ago when she hearted my recent post and sent the request without thinking much of it. I respect your wishes, won't contact her again, and I wish you both the best. And of course, she gives me the old thumbs up. Now, when we were together and she was really upset with me and I would say something, she would just give me the thumbs up, kind of like, just almost in a rude way, right? And that was it. Well, then I went to block her. I thought, she's unblocked me. I've been blocked this whole time. I could block her, and now I have control of who blocks who. Because that was the thing, actually, when we broke up. She blocked me, and then she unblocked me, and then I blocked her, and then I think I unblocked her, and then we were unblocked for a while, and then she blocked me, and then now she has control. And she decides when and if or ever I'm unblocked. And, whatever. Here it is 6 years later. I don't really give a fuck. So I thought, oh, my God, I know that she can't block me for 48 hours. So, like on Facebook, when you unblock somebody, you cannot block them again for 48 hours. So I'm thinking, ooh, I could block her now, and I have the control. But you know what? I really don't care. And I knew she was going to block me again after the 48 hours. And, now it's the control is her. But I really don't care. Like, if she wants to be that petty or, that's fine. Or maybe she'll never block me again. I don't know at this point, but she seemed very, very upset that I had friend requested her daughter. So I was like, eh. So anyway, sure enough, after 72, 3 days goes by, I had checked to see if I was blocked, and I wasn't. And then a few hours later, I was. I noticed I was blocked. So, and you know what? Good riddance. I just don't care. I could have taken over, but at this point, I just want to be nice and move on. I don't want to have hate in my heart. I don't want to have ill will in my heart. I don't, it's kind of like, you guys ever get those people that knock on your door and they're really annoying, they're salesmen, and no matter what mean things you say to them, they're always super nice to you, and they walk away with a smile, and they're just very, very friendly, and you're like, I could have said anything to this person, like good, bad, ugly, whatever, and they're just going to respond nicely, and I'm like, how can they do that? Well, I just decided, you know what? I don't care how mean she is, what ugly thing she says, how mad she's going to stay at me for the rest of her life. I'm not going to live life like that. I'm just going to be nice and move on. And I think that was a really kind of a fun lesson to revisit is, you know what? Just clear your mind, be nice, whatever they want to do, they're going to do. And then so be it. But, you can be nice. And that's what I decided to do at that point. Just wish them the best. Hey, sorry, nothing ill was meant from this. Best to both of you. No, fighting words back and forth. Just end it on a nice way. And if she wants to block me, she can block me. So that was that. That was kind of an interesting thing to revisit. I haven't heard from her in, oh my God, 5-6 years. So that was that. Maybe I'll check in on her daughter in a few years just to see kind of what's going on in her life. Because I truly cared about her daughter and her other 2 young children. And it's, it's kind of interesting to watch them grow and see what they did with their life. But I'm not going to pursue too hard. And, it is what it is. Life moves on.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Hey, it's Brew. And when I think about everything that's happened over the last 5 years, it's honestly pretty wild. I went from moving all across the country to landing here. I've interviewed artists I've looked up to forever and somehow shared almost every moment with you online. It really makes me appreciate how important a great internet connection is. Whether I'm posting videos, answering messages, or researching for my show, staying connected is a huge part of my life. And a lot can change in 5 years, but the price of your internet shouldn't. With Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Setup is stress-free, too. You can keep your network name and password and watch every device connect instantly. Just worry-free Wi-Fi for smooth connections from day one. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Let's talk about my current sugar dating situation, kind of some of the trouble and shenanigans I might have found myself in Vegas. So Vegas is a completely different animal when you're trying to meet people on Seeking. It's different than any place in the world. And a big part of that is the reason is because prostitution is legal in Nevada. Now, it's not legal in Las Vegas, but it's legal in Nevada, and it's pretty much just, the authorities don't really do much about it. If you're walking down the streets of Vegas, they're handing you cards with naked women on them and a phone number. I mean, there's mobile billboards driving by you on the strip with, half naked women and numbers to call. And they'll show right up at your hotel room. I've never had that experience. I've never pursued it. It's a little bit scary to me. I guess fear of the unknown, and I'm just not looking for a random hookup, but there's a lot of guys that are, and sometimes you just have your needs. You want to have fun. You can also find that on Seeking very easily in Las Vegas. It could be 3 a.m. You can message women on there, and they'll say, what hotel are you at? I can be there in an hour or whatever, right? And it's this much. It's pretty crazy. But I do like meeting people in Vegas. One of my favorite things to do is to find somebody who's there from out of town visiting, and they just want somebody to hang out with, somebody to show them around town. Now, I was there playing poker at the World Series of Poker, so I didn't really have a good schedule. I couldn't set a date with somebody, and because when you're playing a poker tournament, you could be knocked out in the next 5 minutes, or you could be there till 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you got day 2 or day 3 or whatever it may be. So the schedule is so unpredictable that it's hard to make plans. But there was a couple times that I got knocked out a little bit early, and I thought, it'd be nice to find somebody to have dinner with tonight or hang out with tonight, or go to, if there's a band in town, go to the concert, go to the Sphere. I ended up going to see No Doubt at the Sphere by myself. It was kind of late, and it was a last minute thing, and I couldn't find anybody to go with me at a last minute, so I just ended up going by myself. But it would have been a lot of fun to enjoy that moment with somebody else and see how they enjoyed it, because it was quite the experience. Anything at the Sphere, I recommend. Messaged a few people, had a few interesting experiences. I mean, where do I even start? Let's start with the 26-year-old Colombian medical student who was in town. She had moved to Vegas from Colombia temporarily. I think she'd been there for a couple months, and she was studying to pass her medical exam. I'm not sure at what point in the schooling she was. I think she was done with undergrad, and she was getting into grad school. 26, so she would just now be getting into grad school at that point, I believe. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know how far. But one thing, I thought she was fake. Okay, so first of all, her pictures were from all over the world, and she looked like a model. And they just looked like somebody had pulled those off the internet. And I tried to do a cross search on the Google images. A lot of times you can right click on there and have, search through Google image, and you can find their Instagram page or Facebook page or whatever, right? And find out actually who they are and if they are who they say they are. But I couldn't find anything. And then I noticed that it said that she was logged in from Colombia. And I was like, well, where are you at? She goes, I'm in Vegas. I'm just like, you know what? You're lying to me, because it says you're logged in from Colombia. And she was like, yeah, I don't know why it's saying that, because I'm here in Vegas. So I'm already really, really suspicious. And I'm not even in. So I started contacting her when I was in Vegas one weekend, but then I'd already gone home, and I wasn't planning coming back until the next weekend because I'd work all week. I was messaging her during the week, and she's like, you want to meet? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's meet. And it was like a Wednesday or something, right? And I gave her a time and a place, and she said, yeah, okay, I'll be there. And then, and I'm not thinking, and then she goes, hey, can we FaceTime? Because I think you might be fake. And I go, oh, no, yeah, we can FaceTime, because I think you might be fake. Sure enough, we FaceTimed, and she was real. Absolutely real. And I'm like, why is your thing saying, why does it say you're logged in from Colombia? She goes, I don't know why it says that, but I'm here. So I felt really, really bad that I was kind of leading her on, because I was just playing a role. I absolutely thought that she was a fake profile, and I'm just playing around. Obviously, it didn't work out for dinner because I was in Arizona and she was in Las Vegas, and anyway, so I said, well, I'll tell you what, let me get a hold of you later. I have something come up. I can't make it tonight, right? Well, the thing that came up is I'm not there. So I went the next weekend and messaged, and sure enough, we picked a place, and she showed up. I absolutely couldn't believe it. As advertised, looked as good as she did in the photos, and we had a nice little afternoon brunch, and then just kind of walked around and saw some sights. And I was shocked because, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I felt like I could sniff out a fake profile. But she was absolutely real, everything that she said she was. So that was one interesting experience. I only saw her that one time, and that was it. So it was a lot of fun meeting somebody from Colombia there. Then I had another experience where there was a very attractive profile, and she was quite busty, brunette, a little bit older, which was fine. I think she was 38. She was 38. And I contacted her, and she responded. And she said, hey, most of these profiles are pretty bad. So, and I don't favorite very many people, but I did you. So I'd love to meet you. So I thought that was cool. We talked for a little bit. Let me tell you what was different about her. She was very responsive and communicated so well. It was very refreshing that how well she communicated. So women and men, do your best to respond to each other's texts in a timely fashion. Sometimes I'll text people and I won't hear back from them for hours. And it's hard to make plans when you're not hearing from somebody for hours. And I get it. We have busy lives. Things go on. But she was a very good responder, and I loved that. And was pretty upfront about everything. She wanted to meet before discussing anything financial. Matter of fact, she didn't discuss anything financial, but she wanted to meet and make sure that there was some chemistry, or that she actually liked me, or that we liked each other. And I could appreciate that. So she was a local. Now, one thing about her is she was married, and she told me openly, like, hey, I've been married for this many years. I've got a couple of children. We have been exclusive for a long time, but then we met a couple who they were interested in kind of swapping partners, and my husband was okay with it, and we decided to, and we've been having a lot of fun. And now, we've kind of had an open marriage. He knows exactly where I'm at, and I tell him everything, and there's no secrets, nothing to hide. So I liked that she was very open about that. And what we did is we ended up meeting for brunch on a Sunday at a place downtown, and she showed up on time, looked just like her pictures. Her personality was exactly like what she had described in the profile on Seeking. And we literally sat there. We had some food, but we basically we drank these blood orange mimosas until we couldn't walk anymore. No, we didn't get that drunk, but we sat there for over 3 hours and just talked. There was a couple times, actually, we had to go back out to our car and pay for more parking, because I think I'd paid for an hour or two, and she did the same, and then we ended up going out and paying for another hour and then coming back in. But we had such a great time, and she was very responsive to everything that I did and said. Like, I told her about the podcast and told her about my relationships with Alejandra and Golfer Girl, and kind of where those were at. And she was very open about her relationships. And then we just had such a great time. And then her and her friend ended up coming to Sugarpalooza. And everybody there loved them. They were a little bit apprehensive at first, but once everybody got to know them, they were just such good people. I mean, she has a really good job. Public servants, you have this profile on Seeking. I mean, what are people going to think? She goes, I don't care what they think. I mean, we're not doing anything wrong. And I got to thinking, yeah, that's right. You're not doing anything wrong. So what does it matter what people think? Just because you're on Seeking doesn't mean you're out trying to prostitute yourself. You're just looking to meet people like you would on any other swiping app or dating app. So she made a good point there. It's like, I don't care what people think. I'm not doing anything wrong. And she has to go through some security clearance and different levels of background checks, and she's certainly not afraid to be out there. So I like that. I like that answer. So that was another interesting person that I've met.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
The final weekend I was up there, I ended up meeting somebody, which took a really interesting turn. So the girl, she's very, very talented. She's actually lives in Las Vegas, not from there originally. But she messaged me, and we got offline very quickly. So I sent her a couple photos like I normally do, and I'm like, hey, it's Marcus. How's your Saturday? And she's like, oh, you're so handsome. What are you interested in from the site? I usually like to meet for simple dinner or a meal first to see if we click. And if we enjoy each other's company, I'm open to start with a PPM arrangement. Ideally, I love to build something ongoing if the chemistry's right. And I said, yeah, I'm in Vegas like every weekend during the summer, which I am for almost till mid-July. And then she tells me a little bit about what she does during the day and then some of her hobbies at night, or that she does also, which I'm not going to get into a lot of these, but because it might out her, but they're very athletic things that she does, and it's really interesting. And so we start talking about trying, a time and a date to meet. And she's like, well, I can see you tomorrow. And I said, well, I'm playing a poker tournament in the afternoon, but if I get knocked out, then I'll have time. And then here's where it took a real turn. Are you ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. She says, there's a podcast host from Arizona. His name is Marcus. And I go, well, interesting. I heard Marcus is in Vegas this weekend. And then she sends me this screenshot of one of my latest episodes. And she goes, are you this Marcus? She goes, yes, you are. I believe you are. And I said, well, if you like to gamble, I'd put my money on yes. And she's like, oh my goodness, I listen to your podcast every day. So now I'm like, well, we must meet then. And then she starts quoting me. This is just unreal to me. She says, well, on your show, you say this a lot. Quote, at the end of the day, you go your way, I go mine, and if we enjoyed each other, let's do it again, unquote. And I said, yeah, and again and again. And then she starts asking me about Alejandra, Lily. She goes, where's Lily? The shocking. And I said, well, actually, Lily's working on Sugar Palooza, which we're having coming up. And she says, wow, I've been binge listening to you guys a lot. And I said, well, I'm very flattered. I've done a few podcasts here fun podcast here in Vegas. And then we decided that tomorrow, the next day that we were going to meet. And I said, yeah, let's just do brunch. And she was available to do that. So it was really a really cool thing. So, and then she goes on, I know you mentioned this, let's see, I thought you said yourself is bald, but your profile is not bold at all. Bald at all? Anyway, no, I'm bald. How is Short King, Jay, Desiree, Nikki, everyone, like she knows all the characters. It's so crazy to me. Then she says, I said, I'm free all day. What time works best for you? Any local suggestions? And then she gives me like a whole list of local restaurants that we could meet at. And we end up picking out a really cool one. Anyway, she was going to Chinatown like later that night with her friends. I think it was a Saturday night. And she goes, I'm listening to your voice now while I'm driving. You made me so excited. I feel I'm about to meet a celebrity. She gave me a little bit about her ethnicity. And I said, I love it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like I said, she gave me some options. And the place that we ended up going to was called the Americana. And it was in like this little residential community that had lakes. And it was right on the lake. And it was probably, I don't know, like a 15, 20-minute drive from my hotel room. But it was absolutely fantastic. So we had a lovely, lovely brunch there. Got into a lot of great talks. It was just so funny. Oh, okay, so she asked me to make the reservation. And I did. And she goes, perfect. You see, men are good at making reservations. Then she goes, love the secret of a sugar daddy, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the shocking. And I said, well, yeah, you're my new favorite fan. And then she tells me a little bit about some of the things, investments that she's making there in Vegas. And it was really amazing. I was very proud of her for what she was telling me. And then she asked me about Golfer Girl, and I'm just kind of perusing through these messages. So anyway, it was really fun. We had a great brunch. I really enjoyed meeting her, especially since she was a fan. And it was just so funny because the way she was like looking at me, it was like almost like she just was in shock that she was even there and kind of looking at me like a celebrity. But I don't feel like that. Like literally I'm right here in an empty room talking to a microphone telling you about my personal life. I don't know who listens to this bullshit or even if you care, but to me I kind of, it's just the life and times of Marcus, and that's kind of where we're at.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So that was that. I'll tell you, I'll get you updated on my current situation. So we just had Sugarpalooza, very successful. Met a lot of new friends, got to hang out with a lot of old friends. It felt like and seemed like everybody had an absolutely amazing time. The chat, our WhatsApp chat where we have everybody on there, has just been firing away. It's starting to slow down now. You could just tell that people have really bonded and have made lifelong friends. Now, I went into this one in a little bit different situation. As you guys know, I've had kind of two steady sugar babies. I've had Alejandra for 4 years, and then I somehow added Golfer Girl. That was not supposed to happen, but it did. It started out last December 2025. Just saw her a couple times, thought it wouldn't go anywhere, and it just every week, like clockwork, we just kept seeing each other, and it kept growing. And I was telling Alejandra, I don't know what to do with this because I like her. We have a good time. It's very superficial, meaning we don't go deep with our conversations. We don't really get deep into each other's business. I mean, she has some things going on with her children and her baby daddy. She doesn't know anything about the podcast. She just hasn't asked, and I haven't volunteered information. She knows very little about Alejandra. We just don't go there. It's not that I'm trying to keep anything from her or, keep her in the dark. It's just the conversations are really superficial. I don't even know how to explain it more than that. So, and plus I'm keeping my, protecting my heart because, Alejandra and I have something very special, and I don't want to, I don't know. I know you're walking on a fine line. You're kind of playing with fire a little bit. I know Trucker and Lily kind of look at me and shake their head and wonder, what I'm doing and why am I, playing with fire like this? But I just enjoy it, and it's my life, and I just enjoy having a little different flavor ice cream every now and then. And Golfer Girl is the little bit different flavor of ice cream once a week for 2 or 3 hours, and that's it. Well, I took Golfer Girl to Vegas one weekend, and it was our first trip together. And you just never know how, when you've been seeing somebody for 2 or 3 or 4 hours once a week, on how a weekend trip is going to go. Well, here's how the weekend trip went. I'll just tell you. So, of course, Alejandra is not happy about it. And Alejandra has gone on a trip with a gentleman recently, and I wasn't happy about that. I wasn't happy about the way it was just told to me, like, hey, I'm going, regardless of what you think, I'm doing this, right? So we talked through that and got through it, and that's the reason I was upset more. Not that she was actually going on a trip, I just felt a little disrespected there. But anyway, we got past that, we talked through it, and things were good. Well, I had given her the heads up that Golfer Girl has every other weekend off, and there may be a weekend that we go to Vegas. And so I was kind of preparing her for that, and I wasn't even sure it was going to happen. But It did. It actually, she said, "Hey, I have this weekend off. Do you want, we had talked about, possibly going, but had made no plans. And so, we decided to go ahead and do it. So I let Alejandra know that, hey, and I tried to do it as respectful as I could. And, of course, it's the fear of the unknown. She doesn't know how my feelings are with her and how this weekend's going to go, which I get it. So anyway, I end up booking a better than average hotel. I got it for a good price, but I spent a little bit extra. I didn't want to take her to the Mardi Gras casino where I stay most of the time during my poker events, because all I need there is a bed and a shower, just a clean bed and a shower, because I'm not in my hotel room. I don't need the frills of the casino or the pool or anything else. So I pay my $60 a night for the Mardi Gras. Well, we end up going to the Fontainebleau, which is a very nice hotel. It was 5-star rooms there, like $300 a night with the fees and everything. It just adds up. So anyway, we get a really nice room. I love the place because I love blue, and blue is interwoven in everything there. And they have a lot of nice restaurants and nice bars, and the clientele is nice. So it was nice to kind of live in luxury for that weekend, and certainly Golfer Girl appreciated that. And we went out for a nice dinner there the first night at a restaurant called Poppy, and we just it was a steakhouse, and we just sat at the bar. But my God, I didn't realize how much attention this girl gets. I hadn't hung out with her enough to know how much attention that she was going to get. So it was kind of fun. The bartenders were talking to us. The other people at the bar, they were talking to. I think a lot of them were just trying to figure out what this old man was doing with this, pretty young lady, right? It was obviously a sugar situation. I mean, it was pretty obvious. But anyway, we had a lot of fun. The martinis were good, and that was pretty much the end of it. We were both kind of tired after the drive and the evening, and so we didn't really do much that night. Well, the next day was a Saturday, so this was Friday. So the next day was a Saturday, and we decided to check out the pool club there, and they have the Live Day Club or whatever it is around the pool, and they had some hot shot DJ there, and it was just funny. So I don't go to these day clubs. I don't do the pool parties. It's just, I'm 58 years old, and my body's in okay shape, but it's not as good as when I was 25, right? Let's just put it that way. So I'm not there to show off or hang out with all the young kids, but she wanted to go, so we did. Funny thing is as we're walking down there, I feel like a fish out of water, pun intended. And she's like, all right, you took care of everything else. Now we're in my world. I'll take care of everything. Meaning she walked up and to the front and where the line started, talked to some people at a booth and says, hey, where's the VIP line? How do I get into that? And they're like, oh, yeah. We could probably get you guys in for free here. And so they directed us to this other guy. We walked down there. She started kind of batting her eyes, flirting with him, and I don't really know what she said, but we got in for free. He's like, yeah, I'll get you guys in. So they put us in the VIP line, got us in there. And then, of course, they have day beds, and they got cabanas, and they've got little areas that are roped off where people have rented them out, and they've got food and drinks in those little areas, little suite areas around the pool. And she's like, all right, just hang with me. I'll get us in one of those pretty soon. And I have no doubt, right? Because every guy there was looking at her. Every girl was there looking at her. Granted, her bikini's barely covered the parts. Let's just put it that way. She didn't wear much. She doesn't have a lot of, she's tiny. She's very petite, has almost zero breast, but it's in a attractive way. It's like she's very flat chested. And so she wears little small bikinis, and just, I don't know, she just gets a lot of attention from everybody, and they're all looking. And the thing is, she's flirting with all these guys, which I don't care. I knew that she could flirt with them all she wanted, and she was drinking, so it got a little bit more and more, but I didn't care because I knew, first of all, she was coming home with me, or she was going back up to the room with me. And then second of all, like, we're not in a committed relationship. I was just having fun. As long as she was having fun, that was fine. So that went, went pretty fun. We got a lot of attention. People were buying us drinks, coming in and talking to us, made friends, no problem. All right. So anyway, after a few hours of that, we're both pretty beat, and we go back up to the hotel room, have a nice time, go out to dinner. Let's see, where did we go the second night? I don't even remember. Oh, we actually went to a show. We went to Absinthe, which was a lot of fun, and inside the tent. And so I took, and then we ate somewhere. Oh, I think we ate at an Italian restaurant there at Caesars, which was really good. So anyway, everything seemed to be going great. Again, it's very surface level, very superficial. And then the next day we wanted to do some things, but we noticed we were running out of time. So I asked for an extension on how much it would be. It was like only $120 or something. It was really cheap for a Sunday, because Sundays in Vegas and the hotel rooms are so cheap. So I'm like, done, let's just do it. Of course, Alejandra was not happy that I was extending it. I get it. Anyway, so things seem to go well, right? And I have a habit of just chatting about my life, about people I've met, people that are in my life, and a lot of them are people that I've met on the site. Well, I mentioned Lily. I mentioned this one. We had this chat that came up where I was talking about this girl that I had met years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago. And she told me she was 21, and she turned out to be 18, I found out, like very quickly. And I was like, oh, no. This is just not going to work. And that was it. I told her that story. Well, somehow she equated me meeting them to me banging them, which didn't happen, right? So I didn't think much about it. So we're on our way home, and she asked me, she goes, hey, how was your former assistant, Taylor, who used to be on the show? And I go, I don't know. She just kind of disappeared, and I don't know if she got back with her old boyfriend in New York. We don't know what happened. She just kind of cut off all communication. Sometimes things aren't right with her. It's hard to tell what she's thinking. I mean, I said it's just funny that she went out to L.A. and she just wanted to do porn, so she did these 5 porn movies and then came home. It's just, I never know what's going on in her head. Well, all of a sudden, like the 4.5-hour trip home, I started getting the silent treatment. And I'm like, man, is Golfer Girl just tired? I was a long weekend, but this is feeling like she's mad at me. So we get home, and she gets out of the car immediately and opens her car door, and I'm transferring her stuff, her suitcase and her things into her car. She's slamming doors. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we haven't even hardly talked all the way home. And then, then we hug each other goodbye, and I go, hey, is everything okay? And she's like, you talk about other girls all the time in explicit detail, and it's just very frustrating for me. I'm like, wait, what? Anyway, then she gets in her car, and I'm racking my brain trying to figure out the conversations, because I already knew she was a little sensitive to that, but I hadn't said nothing that I could recall that would be upsetting to anybody. Well, I couldn't just leave it alone, so I texted her a few times and used ChatGPT to help me, and it did. And it kind of guided me in a way where she finally said that things had just accumulated, where she told me that I fucked an 18-year-old, and then I'm talking about my assistant's porn and all that. And I'm like, look, first of all, I didn't do that with the 18-year-old. And the second thing, you had asked me about the assistant. I was just relaying information. I just thought it was kind of interesting that she'd done that. I don't know, such weird things. So I told her, look, and I did compensate her for the weekend, which helped her with her rent and stuff. So she was able to take care of that. But I said, look, I'm not going to be available for the next few weeks, and I'll just holler at you when I am, because I'm at this point, I'm pretty upset about the whole thing. And then she's like, okay, fine. And that was it. Like, we have not gone out or even talked since. Not saying that I'm not going to reach out or that she's not going to reach out, but we've been on a break for a good 4 weeks now. And I know that she was using that money that I was giving her every week to help cover her rent and take care of her kids and other things. So I don't know. I don't know what she's been doing on that, but that's kind of the status on that one. And then I was just kind of fed up with women at that point. I was pretty upset. And then Alejandra did a couple things that just, I don't know, it was bad timing. And I just told her, look, I'm done with you at this point too. I need a break. And I, went ahead and compensated her for the week, even though we didn't see each other. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I am on a break right now from my sugar babies, the two there. I don't know what to say. Alejandra and I have talked, and we've hung out a little bit, and I can definitely see that. We're too good of friends, and we've had too many amazing times together for that one to end. So that one will probably fire back up soon. I just, I had a very expensive summer in Vegas, and I've got a lot of projects going on, and so I had this Sugar Palooza thing happen. I had a lot of bills to cover there, and sugar dating is very, very expensive, and when two girls just kind of come at you at once, and I wasn't in the mood, I don't know, I let the emotions get the best of me, and I just cut them off. And said, well, I need some space. I got things to take care of. And sometimes, you know what? You got to look out for you. Like, I've donated to so many single moms and single ladies, and taken care of so many people that sometimes I forget to take care of myself. And so I needed a little mental health break myself and business break just to get caught up, kind of figure out really what I want in the world. And I mean, I've been doing sugar dating for 10 years, and I've said it many times. I've spent well over 7 figures of donations and support for the different people in my life. And do I regret it? No. I've had the time of my life, and I've met the greatest people in the world. But at this point, I just needed to take a step back, breathe, figure out what direction I want to go, and go from there. And it's been good. I'll tell you what, I've needed it, and I'm feeling my old self starting to come back. So that's my current situation. I mean, and I get it. When people need a break, I get it. And it's just at that point, I needed a break. Everything blew up, and maybe I didn't handle it exactly the way I should have, but that's what happened, and there we go. So that is the story of my latest sugar dating shenanigans. Some are funny, some are not. But anyway, Vegas is, just to sum it up, Vegas is an interesting place. And if you go and try to sugar date in Vegas, just be ready for some interesting people. Like I said, I love to find the ones in Vegas who are just there. Maybe they've been on Seeking in their hometown, like in Florida or in, Michigan or New York or whatever, and they're just having a great time in Vegas, but they'd love to hang out with somebody there and have a guy pay for everything. And I don't mind doing that because it's a lot of fun. I've jumped off the side of the stratosphere with a girl that was there from Florida. I've talked about that. We hung out. I went to a concert years ago with a girl that was in town from, let's say Michigan. I don't remember exactly where, but it was from up north. Met her, had a great time. I haven't really kept in touch with her, but I have good memories from it. It was a lot of fun. Met the Colombian girl. You just never know. Oh yeah, and then of course we met. I have to find a name for the other one that's married that came to our Sugar Palooza. I think she gave me her podcast name, but I forgot what it is. But anyway, such a wonderful, wonderful person, and I'm glad they're in my life. It's truly beneficial for me to know this person, and hopefully it's the same for them. All right, well, that's it for today. If you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, we'd love to hear them. You can contact me on our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, or through Instagram. Follow us there. YouTube. We're getting close to 1,000 followers. I know it's not a lot. There's people with millions of followers, but I can't monetize my channel until we get 1,000. I think we're at getting close to 900. So if you haven't followed us on YouTube, just follow us there. I appreciate that. And then, of course, our Patreon, that's our fan club, and that's our family. And I'll have a link to it at the end of this, at the bottom of this episode, and it's also on our website, but it's patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy Podcast. All right, until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.
Latte for Keenan?
That's me.
Hey, you're
Yeah.
buying a car online on AutoTrader?
Really? But unlike other sites, you can start online, test drive with a local dealer, then finish online or at the dealership.
Really? Wait, are you
Yep, it's key.
able to finish in person without starting the process over?
Really. Your info stays with you every step of the way.
Cool. Enjoy.
It's Keenan Thompson. Buy your car online on AutoTrader. Really.